Back to the Future the Musical's Broadway run has sadly made like a tree and gotten out of here, but it's still touring the US, still running on the West End, and it has more homes on the way. So despite the Broadway show's closure, the show is still going strong in other venues. But just how is the musical? And which songs written for the musical have that new sound we're looking for? And which songs are just too darn loud? Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. It's well known how much Back to the Future is my favorite everything, and I always thought it could make a good musical, or at least a good musical parody. Music is deep in its DNA.
Yeah, it's an action comedy, adventure coming of age film. Musical.
I also never thought that would actually happen, because why would it? Who else would actually think to add musical numbers to Back to the Future? Well, apparently Leslie Zemeckis, that's who. And then it finally happened. It finally came to stage as a musical, and another Zemeckis movie followed not long after. At this rate, we're only a handful of years away from a Welcome to Marwen musical. I saw Back to the Future on Broadway and in the touring production, and as a stage spectacle, the musical is unparalleled, with fantastic cast bringing incredible scenes to life, buoyed by some truly impressive special effects. As an actual musical, it's alright. It's no Music Man, but I like most of the songs. So let's rank the original songs written for Back to the Future, the musical.
88 miles per hour.
Number 17, Hill Valley School Fight Song. This is like a school spirit cheer. It's not in the cast recording, so it didn't stick with me very much, but it's listed as a number on the playbill, so I guess I should acknowledge it. I remember it being fine. It's a high school cheer. It had a little bit of world building about Hill Valley High School, but nothing that changes that much. I'm presuming it's mostly there to help with the scene change. I remember basically no details about it. Next song. Number 16. Hello, is anybody home? Despite getting its title from one of Biff's catchphrases, this song is sung by the McFly family. The whole family. First, Marty sings.
My father doesn't have a spine. He grovels, scrapes, and toes the line. Hello, is anybody home?
Then George sings.
Listen to my mantra. Just leave me alone.
Then Dave has a verse.
I'm the man, oh yes I am. I got this thing wide. Have you heard 10 billion served? Gets me so inspired.
Then Linda has a verse.
I just want a date. She says she never called a boy.
Then Lorraine has a verse, which foreshadows one of her big songs later.
There was something about that boy.
Hello!
It's not bad, it just drags on and on. I'm pretty sure Dave and Linda have more lines in this song than they have in the entire film trilogy. And I'm okay with expanding their roles, but Dave and Linda could have shared a verse? Did we really need a big, passionate solo about contentment in food service?
And all I ever have to say is you want fries with that.
I get setting up the contrast between Marty's fear of being stuck and everyone else's contentment, except Linda's not content because Lorraine won't let her date. There's a lot going on, and this could have been streamlined.
But now the walls just keep closing in, and I don't know if I'll ever win.
On paper, I get giving the McFlys a big number together, and I get seeing Marty's unhappy station in life, but we already heard him sing about wanting to get out of here. We already heard him lament his failed audition. We already heard Jennifer comfort him about how someday he will get out of here. At this point, we are firmly in mopey Marty territory, and we're like a half hour into the show, and we haven't seen Doc yet.
Don't need the complications.
Again, I can't call it bad, it's just disproportionately paced. I guess I like setting up that the unhappiness the McFly family is feeling isn't just about money, but still, when you're adapting a movie with such efficient setup and exposition, and especially when you're adapting the scene that famously hides all its exposition in really fast jokes, it's notable when a scene like this drags. Number 15. My Myopia. George is up in a tree singing about his single-mindedness while creeping on Lorraine.
My myopia is my utopia, and I'm hoping ya do it too.
George is shockingly self-aware about his major character flaw. The comedic tone of Back to the Future lives in its delicate balance between the blatant and the subtle, and this song definitely leans more in one direction than the other.
I'm doing the best I can to see only what I want to.
Mostly this serves to show that in the original timeline, George hasn't grown at all since childhood. The "just leave me alone" he expressed in "Hello, is anybody home?" has always been his point of view.
Trying to avoid a confrontation. I would rather be in hibernation.
On the surface, the lyrics paint an empathetic view of George's inner life. The humor comes in the juxtaposition with his unjustifiably creepy behavior. And as is so often the case in Back to the Future, the true punchline is Marty's reaction.
And considering I haven't met her yet, he's a PP Tom!
Number 14. Teach him a lesson. In a scene that's almost out of part 2, Biff discovers Calvin is taking Lorraine to the dance, so he reprises a song of Lorraine's that we'll talk about later about his plans for the little pipsqueak.
There's something about that punk that I don't trust. He's dangerous.
There's stuff I like in this song, and I love the way it's staged, but some of the songs in this show don't quite live up to their full potential, and I feel like this one falls the shortest. I want a Biff Tannen villain song to be the funniest villain song I've ever heard. The man is my number 1 favorite comedic villain. He deserves at least as good a song as my number 4 favorite comedic villain. Spoilers for a decade-old D-list, I guess.
I'm gonna remind him of what a man can't do.
The main joke in this song is Biff says the opposite of what he means. And Biff's malapropisms in the movies have a little more to them than that. They're mostly about him hearing a pun, not fully understanding the joke, and then trying to recreate the pun without the actual part that makes it a pun.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Oh, that's about as funny as a screen door on a battleship.
Have a nice trip. See you next winter.
The humor comes from the gap between the turn of phrase he heard once and what he actually remembers from it. And here that gap is just saying can't instead of can. It's not unfunny, it's just not as funny as his malapropisms in the movies, so it doesn't reach the full potential of the Biff villain song.
It's heads he wins, tails I lose.
So I did some research, mostly from this book, which details the long process of bringing Hill Valley to the stage, and from the deluxe edition of the cast recording, which includes a second disc of demos and early drafts of some of these songs. And from this research, I learned about some of the other attempts at a Biff song. First one was called It's What I Do.
I'm a bully down to the roots, and every goody two-shoe should be shaking in their boots. You see, we're all connected. The predator, the prey. It's just to be expected. It's in my DNA. It's what I do.
This take on Biff is shockingly self-aware about his entire lineage's station in life. It's like he knows that his whole family tree is fated to antagonize McFlys across the multiverse.
We're all in this together. We all have roles to play. The oppressed and the oppressor. It's always been that way.
The other one, Good at Being Bad, takes the opposite side of the nature versus nurture debate, beginning with a full 2 minutes of Biff lamenting his sad childhood.
I was a delicate boy. I had a hard time just playing with others. A deeply impressionable child who cried when his bird died, preferred pastel colors.
But then he gets upbeat with how he channels that into his new persona.
So don't complain, I felt your pain. That's why I'm good at being bad. I have the urge to simply purge these negative feelings I once had.
Okay, once you get past the slow start, I actually like this one a lot. It's catchy as hell, and there's a lot of fun to explore in the sensitive bully gag. I think we've all known a few bullies who weaponize their own trauma to justify inflicting it on others. That said, I don't think it's right for Biff.
Don't let me be misunderstood. I pick on you for your own good. When it's a win-win situation, then my fun's your education.
Again, he's self-aware on a level that's just not Tannen-esque. It would be good for another comedic bully, but not for Biff Tannen. And apparently Bob Gale's daughter agreed, telling him that the song came too close to making Biff likable, so it was scrapped.
Good at being bad.
So yeah, none of these three takes really fulfill the potential of the Biff Tannen villain song. Tom Wilson's out-of-character songs would probably make for better Biff villain songs.
Green means go, Mr. Stupid Man ahead of me. Green means go, Mr. Idiot in front of me. Get off the phone and move your little hiney. If I miss this light, I'm going to kill you.
It's a shame we don't get a villain song worthy of Biff, but at least Teach Him a Lesson is elevated in the performance. While the malapropisms themselves aren't as funny as they could be, humor is mined from Biff's henchmen getting more and more frustrated with his mistakes.
Yes, I'm the man you won't regret. Will regret.
Still, I hold out hope that maybe a future revival could give Biff the villain song he truly deserves. But what do I know? I'm just some butthead. Number 13. It works. Doc makes his grand entrance in a DeLorean that was not on stage a second ago, and he shows off his new invention and the most important feature of it, apparently, namely that it actually works.
It's a car for the stars, like Captain Kirk's. And for once I knew a me to think it really works. It works, it works, it works, it works.
Far be it for me to tell Zemeckis, Gale, and Silvestri what to do with Doc Brown, and I do like this song okay, but I would have preferred a patter song for Doc's big opener. Gale even had that thought in his notes, according to the book. After all, Doc is nothing if not loquacious, so just repeating a two-word phrase over and over doesn't really get to Doc's essence.
In terms of the vernacular, it's spectacular because it works, it works, it works, it works.
I also don't know if "it works" should really be the key sentiment here. Like, when young Doc sees the time machine, sure, but Doc conducting the first test? "It works" is not what he was yelling there.
88 miles per hour!
I feel like the sentiment should be less about the fact that it succeeds at what it does, and more about what it does in the first place. This should be a song about unlocking the fourth dimension, not just about inventing something that works.
Hey, Doc! Yeah! Who are the girls? I don't know, they just show up every time I start singing!
I've heard worse fourth wall break jokes in musicals, but I've definitely heard better too.
Weirder than the singing of the song itself is that you seem to be singing exactly one half of a song. Did you notice that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
Then again, they were probably expecting this to be a lot of the fandom's first musical, so I guess they wanted to ease them into it. I don't know.
That blunt force trauma when I slipped and hit my head shook something loose in me, some high fruit in the tree, and that's when I could see how fluid time could be.
Now, for any issues I may have with the song, the demo disc reveals that originally they tried a different style.
It works! It works! I can't believe it works! Took 30 years and all I had. Oh, great Scott, I wasn't mad. It works! It works! It works!
And it was Roger Bart who actually worked with Glenn Ballard and Alan Silvestri to rework the song to fit his style better. And I'll admit, the one they go with in the actual show is an upgrade.
It works, it works.
It works!
I get the old-timey showman instinct they went with here, but this version is just a little too corny.
Only took 1,000,000 thoughts and 1.21 gigawatts.
Or the backup singer supposed to be Trixie Trotter?
The future is coming today. There's a shiny new tomorrow on the way.
The version they went with in the show might not reach my ideal of the potential of a Doc Brown song, but it at least does feel like a DeLorean song, if that makes any sense. So I guess overall, it mostly works.
It works!
Number 12, Wherever We're Going. After Marty's failed audition, it's time for Jennifer to come in with the emotional labor.
Why do you let people put you down? It's not for them to say.
Jennifer Parker is the most supportive girlfriend in the world, no matter which timeline we're in. Whether she's Claudia Wells or Elizabeth Shue, presumably even when she's Melora Hardin, but we'll probably never know for sure, Jennifer has Marty's back, and the stage version is no exception.
Let me remind you, you're everything to me. Something good is flowing.
It's sweet. Jennifer wants to be with Marty wherever they're going, whether or not they need roads.
Wherever we're going is alright with me. There's no way of knowing, we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, as usual, Jennifer's not given much to do other than be the supportive girlfriend, but she sings her heart out.
Wherever we're
Now, based on the demo, the early version of this steered a little too hard into being a reprise of the opening number.
It's only a matter of time.
Which, like, you want your songs to be of a piece, and I know repetition is used to great effect in this franchise, but this comes mere seconds after the opening number, so it's probably good they changed their minds about overdoing it that quickly.
Yes, it's only a matter of time.
Of course, they get interrupted by the Save the Clock Tower lady, highlighting one of the small but crucial differences between film and stage. In the movie, she wanted to preserve the clock tower exactly as it was, keeping a useless broken clock in the middle of town just for historical significance.
We at the Hill Valley Preservation Society think it should be preserved exactly the way it is.
In the musical, she wants to save and restore the clock tower, get the clock working again to get Hill Valley unstuck in time, which is less funny, but more thematically poignant. The clock tower is now part of the metaphor for Marty having no future and going nowhere, which is interesting in a different way than the movie was funny. Number 11. Deep Divin'. At the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, Marvin Berry and the Starlighters sing a little seafaring song.
In the South Sea Islands, they dive for pearls. In the USA, they dive for girls.
Oh god, who's been trapping girls underwater? Is this Dire Docks? Does Mario need to dive to rescue Peach?
There'll be somebody waiting at the end of the pool.
Structurally, this takes the place of Night Train, and it evokes it musically.
Everybody says that you should look before you leap.
But Night Train doesn't let Marvin Berry croon.
And when I look at you, I am ready to go deep.
The song itself does exactly what it needs to do. Establishes the dance, livens up the beginning before the plot points can start, fits in with the Enchantment Under the Sea theming, lives up to its full potential. Catchy, fun, pretty good. Number 10. The Letter/Only a Matter of Time reprise. Now, for most of the reprises in the show, I'll be talking about them at the same time as the songs they were reprised from, but this one is kind of its own separate thing.
I don't know how I ended up here. It's so hard to believe.
The first part of this piece is score from the movie, so that part is ineligible for this list, but the second part of the piece is a reprise of a song we'll talk about later, and it even draws a little bit from an unused earlier draft of that later song.
Destiny, I'm not sure what that means. And history, well, it's not everything that it seems.
But it also draws just as much from a song we've already talked about.
Wherever we're going is alright with me.
This is the Somewhere Out There of the show, with Marty and Jennifer duetting across time.
There's no way of knowing just where that will be.
Singing at the same time at different times. This, as they say, is heavy.
We'll get where we're going eventually.
You know, famously, the Bobs never really know what to do with Jennifer.
How many kids? God, what the hell are you doing?
But even though she's not really part of the story here, I like how she's using this number. This doesn't just throw her in as a Spamalot whatever happened to my part moment, but instead she's here to represent Marty's future. While Marty is lamenting his uncertainty, Jennifer represents the confidence and stability that he's reaching for.
Now I know all our hopes and our dreams are real and about to come true.
It's probably easier to be confident since she doesn't know he's currently trapped in the 50s, but even still, she represents the hope that his future could be. And on stage, this is further solidified by her sitting on a bench with an ad for where they live.
Hilldale.
I mean, where they're going to live. Someday. Unless they don't in this timeline, I don't actually know. Number 9. Pretty Baby. Marty wakes up in Lorraine's bed and she has taken a liking to him.
Pretty baby, got this funny feeling. Pretty baby, I might need some healing.
This song is not necessarily a particularly hilarious parody of 50s girl group songs, but it is an accurate pastiche of them.
It's getting hotter and it's giving me the chills. I think I'd better rest here for a while.
Musically, it even evokes Earth Angel a little bit, making the song Lorraine sings to Marty a nice little foreshadowing of Lorraine and George's song.
When I sit by your side, I just can't describe feeling these feelings I feel.
Admittedly, it maybe steps on the scene later at the dance when Lorraine is already this verbally forward. Like, her coming on to Marty at this point in the movie could still maybe be read somewhat innocently, but there's no misinterpreting this.
Good girls never do it. They won't do it till they do.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a girl who's parked before. I'm not judging, I'm just observing.
This can't be real. Tell me it's real.
But like with George's song right before it, the song itself, not necessarily that funny. The humor comes from Marty's reactions to it, which don't really come through in the cast recording because it's all physical comedy.
Pretty baby, I want you to feel it too.
So much of the humor in the movie comes from Michael J. Fox's facial reactions to everything happening around him. On stage, those reactions have to be a bit bigger and a bit broader, but they're still hilarious. Number 8. Future Boy. Doc tells Marty that he's stuck here, so Marty sings a sad ballad.
Future boy, I'm no future boy, 'cause I think I'm here to stay.
And in the demo, this whole song was pretty much done in this melancholy tempo.
Future boy, you're the future boy. There's no time for you to stay.
But in the show, new information and some Sylvester twinkles turn that ballad a little more optimistic.
The physics of this problem are perplexing. The muscles in my brain are busy flexing.
This portion incorporates what was originally meant to be a second song, One Way Street.
The physics of this problem are perplexing. So the muscles in my brain are busy flexing.
Yeah, bringing these songs together was definitely the right move. This is as close as we get to the Doc Brown Patter song I was hoping for, and it doesn't quite reach the full potential of the idea, but I really like the way it builds to the crescendo.
The only way to ever get you back to the future boy.
Also, according to the book, when they were looking for ways to liven the song up, Zemeckis stopped by and said, "I see tap dancing."
You're the future boy, and we know we found the way.
And the cast recording ends triumphantly. The onstage version less so, but it leads to a better fourth wall joke about Doc's backup dancers.
I'm the future boy.
Number 7. 21st Century. Doc opens up Act 2 by dreaming about what the future holds.
No more hunger, no more pain, they're things of the past.
This admittedly is a very 80s feeling song for 50s Doc to be singing, but hey, he's a forward thinker.
The sun will follow everywhere we go. There's no more hide in the future.
If I had to describe the song in one word, it would be Epcot-y.
Imagine what we'll see in the 21st century. 21st century's here.
This is closer to the sentiment I wanted from Doc's introductory number, singing about scientific discovery and the potential unlocked by his new invention.
Flying cars and strange machines will fill up the sky.
Instead, it's the Act 2 opener, just fun enough to get the show started, but just superfluous enough to give people time to get back to their seats from intermission.
Trips to Mars will happen every day.
The set for this is like a spaceship time machine that all feels very Institute of Future Technology-ish, to the point where you even see a dinosaur in this sequence, and also a TARDIS, not a reference to the ride, just a nod to the other time-traveling doctor, and also hoverboards, both the right kind and the wrong kind.
Exercising while you're sleeping gives give it a try. Watch TV while inches fall away.
You know, the Bobs have often talked about their ethos in writing part 2, which is nobody ever predicts the future accurately, so you might as well make it a bunch of silly jokes. And this number continues that ethos, albeit Doc is the one making predictions he thinks will be correct, instead of the filmmakers making predictions they know probably won't be. But, you know, it's only been 10 years since those predictions were false. I'm sure we're going to get real hoverboards any day now.
And since we've given up cash, no more markets will crash and we'll vaporize trash. Just imagine paying all day and for double the pay.
I love that Doc immediately goes from we've given up money to we get paid twice as much. I realize it's his scatterbrain throwing every idea at once talking.
When the lake freezes over.
Winter, Doc, what are you talking about? Monday, it's 3 days away.
But if he keeps promising those kinds of internal contradictions, he'll have a fine career in politics. Oh God, just keep him away from Edna Strickland. In earlier development, there were other ideas for Act 2 openings. First was a song called Time Travel is a Dangerous Thing, which sounds like the name of a Rogers and Clark first draft.
Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Why?
Yeah, I can reference Ishtar in a Back to the Future video. Try to stop me.
Time travel is a dangerous thing. 'Cause once you get there, you may never get back again.
Then after they scrapped that, they tried a song called Connections.
You've got to make the right connections, because everything that we explore begins with what's been done before.
This feels like it could just as easily be a Chaos Theory song for Ian Malcolm. I'm sure we'll get there eventually. We're on track to turn every movie that got a Universal Studios attraction into a Broadway show.
You've got to make the right connections if you expect to find your groove.
The main impetus behind leaving both of these songs behind was the push to open the act on a major key song, and this one certainly does the trick.
In the 21st century!
It also ends with a pretty impressive magic trick if you don't know what's coming, when Doc disappears from one space and reappears in another. Number 6. It's Only a Matter of Time. This is the big opening number, musically introducing us to the show's version of Marty and the show's version of Hill Valley. Structurally, it takes the place of the Power of Love late to school scene in the movie, and it feels a piece with Power of Love musically, but it marries it with Silvestri's classic theme. After that new twist on a familiar motif, Marty sings his first lyric.
I'm looking around.
So he pretty much sings what he sees. Hey, fair enough. Marty's always been a verbal processor.
He's all right. Biff, he's a peeping Tom. Hey, I've seen this one. This is a classic. Black Pass Maple, that's John F. Kennedy Drive. Jesus, George, it was a wonder I was even born. What? Damn it, Doc. Why did you have to tear up that letter? What a nightmare. Power laces, all right. Shark still looks fake. It is Wild Gunman. He's a complete wimp. But I live in Hilldale. This is great. November 12th, 1955. That was the date I went back. Screen door in a submarine, you dork. Ooh la la. Talk about deja vu. The cave! So you're my great-grandfather. You're Mad Dog Tannen. That's the $80. It's a refrigerator. The dog can dance. Thank God you guys are all back to normal. I mean, this is where we're gonna live. Someday.
I've got no filter, may seem a bit off kilter. Every thought I have, I say, so might as well sing it today.
I rock my future, a winner, not a loser. Nothing anyone can say can make it any other way.
Marty's enthusiasm and optimism is a slightly different take than movie Marty's frantic scramble to school in this sequence, but I think it's the right call here. It's focusing on Marty's coolness, which still comes through in the movie through the frantic scramble, and his optimism for the future is, well, it's something we're all a little desperate for right now. Of course, he doesn't realize how much of his future rests in the past. And on the way to the audition, he runs into a candidate.
Elect me, Goldie Wilson.
Wilson for mayor!
I like how thematically Goldie is used throughout the musical to represent the future, to represent change. Progress is, after all, his middle name. It's reinforced by another subtle but crucial change from the movie. In the musical, he's only running for mayor at this point. It's fitting that as the representative of progress and change, he's the first one to sing not only the title of the song, but also the motif that draws from the movie's theme.
But it's only a matter of time to the bells of prosperity chime. We'll be part of a new day, a long overdue day. I'll lead us as we make the climb.
That said, in the original version on the demo disc, there was a lot more singing along to the theme tune before we got to Marty.
Is it luck?
Is it fate?
If you're early
Or late?
you'll change what it will be.
Yeah, I get the Hill Valley Greek chorus instinct here, but steering away from this was pretty wise. You can overdo it with singing to a familiar tune, especially marrying a tune we love with lyrics you don't yet know if we'll love. And we should get to our hero as fast as possible.
Just a time and a place.
But it's still kind of funny that this part gets reprised later, although less obviously to the Silvestri tune.
Destiny. I'm not sure what that means. It's only a matter of breaking through the fourth wall.
Oh, that's why you asked about the backup singers in It Works.
The greatest future of all. It's only a matter of time.
Then after Marty doesn't land the audition, there's almost immediately a little reprise called Got No Future.
I've got no future.
It's a separate track on the cast album, but it happens so soon and it's so brief that it's either an extension of this song or it's the first part of Wherever We're Going.
I won't be getting out of here.
And yes, that reprise comes from the original version of this song.
I've got no future, I'm not getting out of here. Cause no matter what they say, the day's just like yesterday.
Again, I get why that was the instinct, showing Marty as an underdog, but changing that was definitely the right move. We want to get on board in our first song with a fun comedy adventure. That mopey, sad sack intro would probably be better suited for the Eric Stoltz version.
Got no future, I'm just another loser.
But the version in the show is a fittingly high-energy way to bring us into the stage version of the world we love so much. At least the 80s version. Number 5. Cake. Marty is welcomed into Hill Valley 1955 by the Chamber of Commerce, and everyone is very proud of this sure-to-age-well lifestyle. And they sing a song with the not particularly descriptive title of Cake. It makes sense in context.
You found the future and it's here. Just look around, you'll see it crystal clear.
I love how this is like the Good Morning Baltimore of a musical that just starts in 1955. I do think they missed an opportunity to have Hill Valley songs in different eras be reprises of each other in decade-appropriate styles. But it's fine. Separately, I like Only a Matter of Time as the 80s Hill Valley song, and I love this as the 50s Hill Valley song. The intrinsic contradiction of the future being here and it being an old-fashioned modern way of living is, well, it's fitting for a town with the oxymoron name of Hill Valley.
Our super-leaded gasoline,
Only 19 cents a gallon.
will keep our atmosphere so fresh and clean.
I also really love how the townspeople are singing about technological advances that, to them, are everyday mundanities that they wouldn't actually be singing about, because it's the exact same way sci-fi characters talk about their mundane-to-them future tech. It's just in the past instead.
For home insulation, asbestos is best.
Much like Doc's misplaced confidence in future predictions in 21st century, this song is full of misplaced confidence in the present. I know that didn't age well humor can be low-hanging fruit, but when it works, it works.
It's no malarkey, our patriarchy. We'll show the whole wide world the way to live this way.
This is the most outright satirical song in the show, showing the unenlightenment of the 50s in full force, which admittedly is a different take than the movie had at this point. Since the movie was made when people were still nostalgic for the 50s, Marty's discomfort when he arrives came solely from his unfamiliarity with what to the audience at the time was a fun throwback. Only later do the hidden darknesses in the 50s gradually start to reveal themselves. But nowadays, we're a little more critical of life in the 50s, and Marty immediately reacts to the dark undercurrent of this shiny, happy suburban life.
What did I tell you? It's like utopia.
It's a nightmare.
But even though it's more satirical than the movie's corresponding scene was about the 50s, it's not that much more satirical than the Bobs wanted it to be, based on the deleted scenes.
These filtered cigarettes are new, so new. And even doctors say they're good for you.
I like to relax by lighting up a Sir Randolph.
It just feels right when all of these white men dance to have their
I've criticized other songs for not quite living up to the potential of those moments in a Back to the Future musical, but this one, I'd say this one pretty perfectly encapsulates the full potential of a Hill Valley 50s song. Number 4, put your mind to it. When setting up the plan, Marty gives George some sage advice, with a little more detail than in the movie.
And when you talk, don't be loud. What? Friends are fine, but don't be part of a crowd.
Marty's advice is generally good, even if he still keeps forgetting when he is.
Try to swagger like me, Jagger off the stone.
Dick Jagger?
Stop apologizing.
I'm sorry.
Be anything you wanna be.
Well, now I want to be Dick Jagger. What does he do?
Now, in the book, Hugh Coles, who originated George on stage, cites this song as the moment George really joins the musical, and doesn't just have it happen around him. Even his earlier solo, By Nature, is isolated from everything else, but here is where George gradually learns to join the show.
Put your mind to it. And don't be blind to it.
Emphasis on gradually, as George struggles to keep up with Marty's dancing.
Put your mind to it.
Now, when I saw this on Broadway, J.J. Neiman was playing George, and he was great. But what really blew my mind was finding out that he was not only George's understudy, he was also Marty's understudy, which means he needs to know both the cool version of the dance and the dorky version of the dance, and I just know if that were me up there, I'd be getting them mixed up in my head every night. Props to him, what a performer.
Hey, you feeling to get George?
Yeah, right in my neck.
The demo version of the song is honestly pretty similar to the final version, the biggest difference being the title. It's called When You're Really Cool.
When you're really cool, you never hesitate.
It might not be the biggest upgrade from demo to final song, but I'd say it was still the right call to give it a name that actually reflects Marty's lesson to George in this scene.
Just put your mind to it.
I get it. My mind.
Number 3. Something About That Boy. Marty defends Lorraine from Biff, and Lorraine is smitten.
There's something about that boy. There's something about that boy.
The first time I listened to the cast recording, this one didn't make that much of an impression on me, but after I saw the show in person, I was sold because this sequence is fantastic.
And there's almost nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that his dreams come true.
There's just so many comedic hijinks and little action set pieces as Biff chases Marty around the school, while a semi-oblivious Lorraine sings her heart out.
Something about that boy.
There's something about that boy that I don't like.
And Biff gets his verse, which I like a little better than his reprise that I talked about earlier. Still not the full potential of a Biff song, but his malapropism here is a little more unexpected and therefore a little funnier.
I'm gonna find him, and when I do, and when you do, I'm gonna unwind him and break him right in 3, 2.
Like, that's closer to the rhythm of movie Biff's malapropisms. Plus, Biff's backup dancers are football players with numbers corresponding to the years visited in the trilogy, which is a nice little touch. Also, Strickland turns out to be just as much of a hypocrite as the 50s kids turn out to be.
There's something about that boy. I can't put my finger on it. I just wanna linger on it.
After stretching out so much of Act 1, it's nice to actually get a number that condenses several scenes in the movie into one, moving through the beats of the cafeteria scene and the Lou's Diner skateboard chase, while working in a different way of doing the Darth Vader scene. According to the book, this was because they wanted to do the Darth Vader joke, but in a way that doesn't cover up an actor's face in a musical, which makes sense. The producers of that fake Lilo and Stitch musical from Better Nate Than Ever didn't get that memo. And it all ends with Biff landing in a big vat of cafeteria spaghetti, making this one of the very few Back to the Future iterations to not have a tannin end up in manure. Even the ride had Doc doing manure-based experiments in the pre-show just to justify an ending with manure. An ending that ended up getting deleted, but still.
Something about that.
Something about that
Number 2, For the Dreamers. After not instilling Marty with a lot of confidence, Doc sings about why this matters. It matters for all the people who have tried and failed.
So this one's for the dreamers, whoever tried to make it.
Doc has been a failure for too long, and now he has a taste of success, and he has to do it in honor of all those people who don't even get that taste.
Who strive to be a winner, go as far as they can take it, even if they don't quite make it. This one's for the dreamers.
I've been talking a lot about what I want from a hypothetical Doc Brown song, and I've been focusing on Doc's fun, wacky, energetic side, but this gets to Doc's pathos. This gets to the heart of Doc in a way that no other song in the show does.
Who never stop believing. One grain of sand becomes a pearl. A great idea can change the world.
This almost retroactively justifies Doc's opening number being about the machine working. He's been a dreamer, now he's gonna be a succeeder.
So this one's for the dreamers who live on inspiration, go as far as they can take it, even if they don't quite make it.
And Glenn Ballard basically wrote the song on spec. Bob Gale and director John Rando didn't ask for it. Ballard just knew the show needed a song like this, and he was right.
And I know how it feels to be told you're no good.
It may be a cliche to give a character an emotional ballad at this point in the show, but it's a cliche because, well, as the Doc himself says, it works.
Names we don't remember, they were close but no cigar, and we don't know who they are.
It's also the song that best uses Roger Bart's singing voice, not the gravelly, nasally cartoon mad scientist, his sincere, authentic pipes. Ironically, the song where he does the least Doc Brown voice is the song that feels the most authentically Doc.
This one's for the dreamers, like me.
And then there's a brief reprise from the top of the clock tower, blended in with the clock tower score from the movie, which is such a triumphant piece of music that it single-handedly justifies doing Back to the Future as a stage musical.
This one's for the dreamers, like me.
For all my nitpicks about the show, any issues I have with pacing or creative decisions I disagree with, I'm so glad I have this song. As well as the next one.
88 miles per hour.
And my number one favorite original song from Back to the Future the Musical, Gotta Start Somewhere. After taking inspiration from Marty, Goldie Wilson gives George a little pep talk. Or more accurately, he sings it.
What are you waiting for? Pick yourself up off the floor. If you don't respect yourself, won't get it from no one else.
It's a lively, inspirational song about taking that first step, even when the road ahead looks impossible. Again, the encouragement we all need nowadays.
No, I'm low man in the room. I'm still the best one with a broom.
I have never been able to pick my favorite character from the Back to the Future movies because I love them all so much, but my favorite character from the musical, Goldie Wilson, hands down.
You gotta start somewhere. You gotta get going or you're never gonna get there.
I love how he represents progress, change, and the future being what you make of it. Everything the story is about encapsulated in this character. Years ago, Matt Myra and Jonah Ray were joking about doing a Back to the Future musical from Goldie's perspective, and this isn't quite that, but it is a Back to the Future musical where Goldie is the theme personified.
Might as well be right here, right now. Come on, boy. You gotta start somewhere. Listen up.
Of course, despite representing change, Goldie keeps some consistent philosophies from his humble beginnings all the way through his political career.
It's a matter of time. But it's only a matter of time.
But even disregarding thematic importance, it's just the catchiest song in the show, and the whole town dances to it. Even the manure guy, even though the manure's not in the show, he's still dancing.
You gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere. And make yourself useful or you're never gonna get there.
I think this and For the Dreamers are the two songs that have the best chance of becoming standards beyond the show's life, and I hope they do because I love them both. And that's my ranking of the original songs of Back to the Future, the musical. But which one is your favorite? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and next month, I'll be back to rank the show's use of non-original tunes. Music that was in the movie before it was in the show. But if you don't want to wait for next month, you can watch that video right now on Patreon for a $2 pledge. And for a $3 pledge, you can hear the podcast episodes we recorded with our initial reactions to seeing the musical on Broadway. Links in the description. Of course, this is far from the only time I've talked about Back to the Future on video, and it's not the only time I've talked about musicals on video either, and you can watch some of the others in these playlists. And until next time, this is Dave, signing off. Last month, I ranked the original numbers from Back to the Future, the musical. But of course, the movie was already so musical to begin with, so the musical had to include the movie's tunes. Well, most of them. Sorry, Time Bomb Town, Mr. Sandman, Ballad of Davy Crockett, The Wallflower, Night Train, Pledging My Love in Heaven is One Step Away. Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. And today I'm ranking Back to the Future, the musical's use of songs and score from the film's soundtrack. And when I say I'm ranking the use, there's a lot of factors at play here. Factors like how I feel about the song on its own, how it's staged, how it's woven into the narrative, how it matches the use in the movie, how it differs from the use in the movie, and approximately 1.21 million other variables. So ranking this is not only more difficult than ranking the musical's original numbers, it's probably a more pointless exercise. But if I put my mind to it, I can accomplish anything pointless, so let's get started. Number 9. Don't Drive 88. This is an adaptation of the end of the 85 Twin Pines Mall track from the film score, renamed after a solemn warning that Doc gives to Marty.
Whatever you do, don't drive 88.
Yeah, partially out of gunplay sensitivity, perhaps partially out of racial sensitivity, but mostly out of staging practicality, Doc is no longer shot to death, but is instead succumbing to radiation poisoning. Which is not really less dark than in the movie.
Doc, you go let me help you! Doc, you're dying!
So Marty's not being chased, he's just racing to the hospital, which still has a sense of urgency, but it doesn't have that let's see if you bastards can do 90 moment that really kicks things into high gear. Still, this is the first time we're seeing a taste of what the DeLorean can do on stage, and it's establishing that while the human characters may get new songs of their own, the DeLorean is getting that classic score. Number 8. Johnny Be Good. Marty plays an oldie? Well, it's an oldie where he comes from. I honestly have mixed feelings about even including Johnny Be Good at all, because On the one hand, it is probably the movie's most iconic musical scene. It's the culmination of Marty's arc of no longer fearing rejection, and if you didn't have it, fans would wonder why it was missing. But on the other hand, it's a lot of stage time to eat up with a cover of a cover.
Way down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans, where acapella with Tamani evergreens. They stood a log cabin made of earth and wood. Well, if the country boy named Johnny be good.
Don't get me wrong, it's at least an energetic cover of a cover, and the choreography adds a lot. The dancers are going wild.
Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go.
Now, in development, they really tried to include the Chuck Berry phone call in the show, but the staging was awkward and the dialogue slowed things down, so it was removed. So if you're only going to the show to see jokes you've already seen before, I'm sorry to disappoint you there. You're not going to get Lone Pine Mall either. I'm sorry.
Johnny be good.
Also, remember how in the movie Marty only does the first verse of Johnny Be Good, but in the movie's soundtrack he does all 3 verses? In the cast recording, he does the first and third verse. I don't know why he skips the second. But the cast recording also has the guitar solo at the end, which the movie soundtrack doesn't, because I guess the soundtrack collectors just weren't ready for that yet. Number 7. The Letter. This is the track when Marty is writing his letter to Doc in the future. Obviously, the contents of the letter are a little different, but the emotion behind it is the same.
There's just knowing I'm gonna live to see 1985, that I'm gonna succeed in this, that I'll have the chance to travel through time.
Well, mostly the same. In the movie, Marty's heartbroken here because he knows that Doc will never have the chance to travel through time. In the show, since there's no Einstein to become the world's first time traveler, Doc tests the DeLorean himself, so he does get to do a little bit of time traveling before he dies. Maybe not enough to really count, but a little bit. So maybe that strips away one tiny thread of poignancy, but just a tiny one. Marty's still sad that Doc's gonna die.
On the night that I go back in time, you collapse from plutonium radiation poisoning.
The core emotion, Marty trying his desperate last effort to save Doc's life, remains the same. And as mentioned last month, it leads into the Only a Matter of Time reprise, which doubles as a Wherever We're Going reprise, so the second half of this track is not eligible this month. Number 6. Overture. Rather than a blend of the various tunes we'll be hearing later, Back to the Future the Musical's Overture is just a slightly abridged version of the movie's Overture. I don't mind it. It gets us in the mood for a story we already love, and on the scrim, we get to see as we are taken from whatever theater we're currently in back in time to Hill Valley, 1985. It's a rather short overture, but it starts us off on familiar musical footing before we get into the more original tunes, which also start on familiar-ish footing with Only a Matter of Time. In the demos, they just use the opening fanfare of the overture to lead into Only a Matter of Time, and yeah, I've already talked about how separating that from the score as much as they did was the right move, and yeah, having just this whole fanfare play, this whole overture play, this was definitely the right move. Number 5. Back in Time. Much like this was the end credit song of the movie, this is the post-curtain call song of the show, sending everyone out with a tune they already know and love as a Doc and Marty duet.
Jump that future on one roll of the dice. Better remember, lightning never strikes twice.
A Doc and Marty duet with a Goldie Wilson interruption.
All I wanted to do, only wanted to do, was play my guitar.
Have I mentioned how much I love Goldie Wilson in the show?
Take me away. I
The song is performed pretty straightforwardly, and it may not be worked into the show particularly creatively, but it is worked in effectively. The choreography is a lot of fun, and the Doc and Marty backup dancers are a nice touch. But at one point, it was going to be reworked into something else. For a while, the crew was looking for an Act 1 closer, and something about that boy at the time just wasn't cutting it, so they decided to add a scene outside the school of Marty pleading with Doc to help because the stakes just got real.
Help me, doctor, and get me out of this time.
Bob Gale reworked the lyrics of Huey's song to fit the narrative, and this was part of the show for so long that the reworked Back in Time was recorded and released to build anticipation for the show. It's not on the demo disc, but it was released on YouTube.
Out of the 50s and back to 1985.
Not gonna lie, it's clunky. I get the instinct, I get why it made sense, and it comes close to working, it really does, but every changed lyric here just reminds me that the original lyric was better.
So take me away, use your mind. You gotta just promise me I'll be back in time.
I don't know, maybe it's a song that only works as an abstraction, as a mishmash of referencing iconography from the movie we just saw, and once you try to make it literal, it just falls apart.
When you drive 88, don't wanna be late again.
Fortunately, in development, something about that boy grew bigger and better until it became the banger Act 1 closer that it is, and Back in Time was sent back to where it belongs, celebratorily closing the show.
You gotta get back in time.
Number 4. The Clock Tower. This naturally underscores the Clock Tower scene, so it starts with a translation to stage of what is honestly the most musical theater-ish moment in the movie.
Damn, where is that kid? Damn. Damn, damn.
That doesn't lead right into singing, but, you know, it could.
Damn, damn.
Damn, damn. I've grown accustomed to her face.
Wait a minute. Doc Higgins, are you telling me you made a debutante out of a flower girl? My Fair Marty, it writes itself. But no, this doesn't lead to singing, it just leads to the action set piece, set to a condensed version of the Clock Tower track from the movie soundtrack. And it's phenomenally impressive the way they translated the sequence to the stage, but that's where we get to the uphill battle this track fights with me, which is in no way the track's fault. It is my own stupid brain's fault. I've seen this movie so many times that I have this sequence in the film pretty much memorized, and I know every camera cut that goes with every note of the score. So shaving a few minutes off the score is already throwing me, even before you get to the fact that what we see on stage while hearing the score doesn't match what we see in the film while hearing the score. Again, not the show's fault. It's a sequence that can only be done cinematically. It relies on the tools of film, of close-up and montage, things that simply can't be recreated on the stage. And honestly, they do a much better job of translating it to the stage than I ever thought possible. The use of scrims, projections, and lighting cues help create a sense of montage happening right in front of your eyes. It's not the exact same montage we get on film, but again, not the show's fault that my stupid brain is associating every note with a specific shot. Would it have been better if they hadn't stuck so closely to the original score here? If Silvestri had just composed a fully new Clock Tower piece for the sequence? I probably wouldn't go that far because this is one of Alan's absolute best pieces, so incorporating it into the show was probably the right move. Again, it's just my dumbass brain that's having trouble reconciling the score with different visuals.
The cable detached. I'll have to go out there and reconnect it myself.
But Doc, you're afraid of heights!
No, Marty, I'm terrified of heights.
But no matter how much hearing familiar score with unfamiliar visuals may distract me, it's all worth it for that crescendo into the For the Dreamers reprise. I know I already praised it last month, but seriously, that might be the moment that best marries the movie's music and the show's original music. It just feels so triumphant. I just love it.
This one's for the dreamers. Like me.
Number 3. Doc returns. Doc interrupts Marty's performance to take Marty back to the future.
Marty, you gotta come back with me.
Where? Back to the future! It's incredible! You're not gonna believe your eyes! Get in the car!
And it's the score from the final shot of the movie, but extended a little bit, and with musical instrumentation coming in. And one last reprise of Only a Matter of Time to send us out on a pretty good marriage of the film's original music and the show's original music. But really, most of the audience isn't paying that much attention to the music. We're watching what that DeLorean does. It's incredible. It has to be seen to be believed. Number 2. Earth Angel. Marvin Berry sings One for All You Lovers, as George works up the courage to kiss Lorraine before being interrupted.
Earth angel, will you be mine? My darling, me, love you all the time.
Narratively, it plays out basically like it does in the movie, but for a scene that plays out so much in close-ups, translating this to the stage must have been a challenge.
Scram, McFly, I'm cutting in.
And evermore.
Like, we can't see Marty's hand fading on stage. We can't shift focus from character to character the way we do on screen. This all just has to play out in the proscenium.
Stop it! Hey, come on, the stairs go. Excuse me.
But we can still have the singing fade into the background and then swell back up again at the key moment.
The vision of your happiness, angel.
And something the musical can add to the scene, George and Lorraine singing along.
I'm just a fool in love with you.
Honestly, that makes all of the emotional difference. I know it's making the subtext text, but that's what musicals are about, having characters sing their feelings, and there's no better way to show the moment that George and Lorraine truly fall in love. And the number 1 use of a track from the movie in Back to the Future the Musical, The Power of Love. This song opens the movie, or close to it, but it closes the show, or close to it. There's 2 others from this list that come after its use as the finale in the show. And also, first a snippet of it is heard in Marty's audition.
Make a one man weep. Hello. Make another man sing.
Hello. Your audition's over, McFly.
Principal Strickland, I don't understand.
That song is crap.
Jeez. I guess in the show, at least Marty gets to sing before his audition is interrupted, but man, Strickland is way more harsh than teacher Huey Lewis is.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
But in the end, in the fixed timeline, Marty and the Pinheads get to sing the full song.
The power of love is a curious thing. Make a one man weep, make another man sing.
What I like about using the song at the end is not just the rather savvy move of sending everyone out on a tune that you know the audience already likes, but it's reinforcing the true happy ending of the movie. A common criticism of the ending of the original film is how materialistic it is. Marty's happy now because his family's rich. Go Reagan's America! And while I understand that criticism, what it misses is that being successful is not the reason the McFlys are happier in the new 1985 than they were in the old one. The reason they're happier is that George and Lorraine actually love each other now.
We need a rematch, George.
A rematch? Why? Were you cheating?
No.
Now the relationship isn't based on pity. Now it's based on mutual respect and shared interests. And a common enemy that they keep weirdly close, but at its core, their happiness comes not from their newfound wealth, but from the power of love. It's just a little bonus that they now have money, fame, and a credit card to ride that train.
It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love.
So using this song as the denouement reminds us that the story really was about the power of love. Also, Goldie Wilson showboats his way into the song, and Marty rolls with it.
The next time you feel it might make you mad, but you'll be glad, baby, when you found
that's the power
that makes the world go round.
Seriously, Goldie Wilson, favorite character from the musical, hands down.
You feel the power of love.
And that's my ranking of the jukebox musical parts of Back to the Future the Musical. But which tune do you think was used best? And do you think the whole show should have been a jukebox musical, or do you think it was strengthened by the songs we talked about last month? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and until next time, this is Dave, signing off. "70 years ago tonight, lightning struck the Hill Valley Clock Tower, and the clock hasn't run since. But more importantly, 40 years ago this past summer, Back to the Future came out. And ever since then, we've all loved Doc, Marty, Lorraine, George, Goldie Wilson, and all the other citizens of Hill Valley. But there were a few that we've loved without ever learning their names." Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things that my name begins with a D. But I don't know what letter these characters' names begin with because these are my top 10 unnamed Back to the Future characters.
Well, you're my... Who are you?
Number 10, the cop.
Evening, Dr. Brown. What's with the wire?
Okay, so the Hill Valley police officer doesn't have that much screen time in the film itself. Most of his best work comes in deleted scenes. First, he observes Marty ostensibly harassing a citizen and does basically nothing about it.
Pinch me. Shame on you. Yeah, that'll do. Thanks a lot. It's definitely not a dream.
And later we see him inspect the so-called permit that Doc gives him.
You aren't going to set anything on fire this time, are you, Doc?
So he not only barely does anything when Marty seems to be a potential threat, but he knows that Doc has a history of causing real damage, but he looks the other way as long as he gets his take. He is a much more accurate depiction of cops than Officers Reese and Foley.
She's clean. That means we take her home.
Look at these two being helpful. What's that all about?
Who are you?
Number 9, the other Starlighters. Look, Marvin may be the front man, but the rest of the band deserves their props too.
Reginald, where are your keys?
Okay, the drummer's named Reginald, but the other members are unnamed and they're awesome.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Hey, guess what, you condescending bastard? These guys have no problem keeping up with you.
Never ever learn to read or write so well.
And in a movie where so much of the humor is based on facial reactions, these guys have some of the best. It's also really fortunate that all of these actors were available again for part 2 and able to reprise these roles. Which is more than can be said for all of the main characters.
Who are you?
Number 8, Blast from the Past saleswoman. She may not do much in the movie, but I love how committed she is to the job.
It has a dust jacket. Books used to have these to protect the covers. Of course, that was before they had dust repellent paper. And if you're interested in dust, we have a quaint little piece from the 1980s.
Now, what is it that draws you to this item? Sports? We don't have any other sports equipment in stock, but oh, the dust jacket? The dust interests you? That's gotta be it. Dust all the way. Well, I have the buster for you.
It's called a dust buster.
It's like her tone is so confident, but she's just grasping at such tenuous connections. She must be desperate for that upsell. And if you're interested in desperation, I have a quaint little piece from 2025. It's called Riffin' with Doggins Volume 1 on DVD or digital download. See? I can desperately upsell too.
Who are you?
Number 7. Wilbur's wife. She only has one line, but she sells the hell out of it.
Listen, you gotta help me.
Stop, Wilbur!
Okay, sure, Marty looks a little odd, but what is she so panicked about? Does she also think Marty is an alien? Has she been reading the same comic books that Sherman Peabody has? Or have the Peabodys already called her to warn her about the guy, and Wilbur, in his good-naturedness, was about to give this poor alien a chance anyway? Was Wilbur ready to be the Elliot to Marty's E.T.? This is a trilogy full of big characters with big emotions, and yeah, she is one of the biggest and the best. The palpable fear in her voice is so strong that many folks have misheard her line as, "Don't stop or we'll die."
Don't stop, Wilbur! Die!
And the misheard line inspired one of the greatest bands of all time. Rest in peace, Harris.
Who are you?
Number 6. The Barbed Wire Salesman. The Barbed Wire Salesman is played by Richard Dysart of The Thing and LA Law fame, but more important to me, of the LA Law scene in the Mickey's 60th birthday special fame, and the Gemini Man pilot but not the series, and yet he still has higher billing in Riding with Death for his flashbacks to the pilot than the actor who played his role in the actual episodes that make up Riding with Death fame.
Now that makes sense.
He sees depressed Doc and immediately clocks his issue because apparently selling barbed wire town to town makes you an expert in human psychology.
It's a woman, right? I knew it. I have seen that look on a man's face 1,000 times all across the country.
But even with all his barbed wire wisdom, he underestimates how true Doc and Clara's love is.
Well, all I can tell you, friend, is you'll get over her.
Oh, Clara is 1 in a million.
I will say he's a little less forward of a salesperson than the woman at Blast from the Past. He's not pushing the barbed wire on anyone, he's just casually mentioning it. And if anyone's interested, they can ask him more, but he's not really going into the sales pitch directly.
I have peddling this barbed wire all across the country has taught me one thing, certain. Is that you never know what the future might bring.
And look, if there's one thing I've learned from How to Use Classroom Films, it's that barbed wire was still pretty novel back then. The haunting acoustic barbed wire theme. Didn't learn much about How to Use Classroom Films, though, but maybe you will if you watch my riff of How to Use Classroom Films. It's available on this channel, or it's available on Rippin' with Doggins Volume 1, because I am a much pushier salesperson than Richard Dysart.
I can assure you, sir, there are other women.
But the whole exchange sticks with him so much that he just can't help but babble about it at full volume on the train the next day.
That poor fella last night had the worst case of broken heart I have ever seen. When he said he didn't know how he could live the rest of his life, knowing how much hurt he'd caused that little girl, well, I really felt for him. I did, right here.
First he butts into Doc's business, and now he makes Doc's business everyone else's business, which ends up being fortunate in these very specific circumstances, but come on, dude.
Clara!
Excuse me.
Ma'am?
But was this man tall with great big brown puppy dog eyes and long silvery flowing hair?
I do like how he immediately recognized that affectionate description. Maybe the salesman also has a little crush on Doc.
You know him.
While the character is unnamed, it has been theorized that this is actually a portrayal of modern barbed wire inventor Joseph Glidden. It's theoretically possible, but unconfirmed, and therefore he is still an unnamed character and eligible for this list.
Who are you?
Number 5. The Video Game Boys. These kids discover a Wild Gunman arcade cabinet, which is impressive considering the game was only ever released on console, but you know, maybe the Cafe 80s is just making retro style cabinets for games that never actually had them. Either way, Marty's still a crack shot.
I'll show you, kid.
One of these kids is played by an actor named John Thornton, but yeah, we know you're here for the other one.
I'm a crack shot at this.
Yes, Michael J. Fox and Elijah Wood share the screen here, before they would eventually both go on to be directed by Peter Jackson, alongside an Aston.
To use your hands?
Elijah is no doubt particularly distressed that he has to use his hands because he knows that he's destined to only have 9 fingers.
That's like a baby's toy.
Even though by this point Biff has already told Marty that he's going to grow up to be a loser, this is Marty's first time getting a taste of what it feels like to be the out-of-touch old guy. He's used to getting skeptical looks because he's ahead of the curve, but not this time. This time he's the fossil.
Baby's toy.
He seems to take it in stride, though. He seems to mostly think it is the children who are wrong.
Who are you?
Number 4, the CPR guy. The credits call him the CPR guy because he's the guy who doesn't know what CPR is.
What's CPR?
But he has a different, more singular focus that we all remember more about him.
Hey, did you just take his wallet?
God, I've been this guy, trying so hard to contribute based on the one piece of information I have, repeating that one thing over and over again until anybody acknowledges my existence.
He just took that guy's wallet.
I acknowledge you, CPR guy. I acknowledge your concern over Biff's wallet.
I think he took your wallet.
Now, the novelization did actually give this guy a name, Lester. And fair enough, he looks like he could be a Lester, but he's not named in the film, so I'm still counting him for this list.
I think he took his wallet.
Who are you?
Number 3, the Battle of the Bands judge. Yes, the first obstacle we see Marty face in his quest to become a rock star.
Hold it, fellas. I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
It's so simple, but it's such a good joke. Not only that a rock band can put all this effort into a performance only to be cut off before they even start singing, but that a rock band can be too darn loud to play in a battle of the bands. And according to Bob Gale, this was Huey's own pitch.
My recollection is that this idea that they get rejected by playing too loud was Huey Lewis's idea.
That's right. It was Huey.
It's the stupidest reason to reject anybody, and of course...
But I think it's something that actually happened to Huey at one time in his career.
Right.
Yes, it is funny that the rock and roller who wrote the song Marty's playing is saying the role of the old square who doesn't like the song, because I guess it's not so hip to be square anymore. But what's actually the funny part is that Marty actually takes it hard.
Next, please. Where's the next group, please?
Marty clearly takes this rejection more seriously than he takes Strickland's abuse. Granted, live adaptations just roll this character in with Strickland.
You're a slacker, McFly.
I am sorry, but that was just too darn loud.
But it's noteworthy how despondent Marty is over this. He's not just disappointed about not getting to play in the Battle of the Bands, he's actually taking this rejection and this criticism really personally. He's not just like, that old judge, he's a loser, what does he know? He doesn't have good taste in music. He is actually thinking he's not good enough based on the taste of this guy. But, rejection over stupid reasons is still rejection, and we all know Marty has inherited way more of George's insecurities than he wants to admit to himself.
What if they say, get out of here, kid, you got no future? I mean, I just don't think I can take that kind of rejection. Jesus, I'm starting to sound like my old man.
I guess being dismissed sight unseen, even by someone whose taste Marty should have no reason to respect, is just too much for the poor kid at this point. So it actually shows remarkable growth when, later on, in the past, he just takes it in stride when the 50s kids aren't ready for it yet. Yeah, whatever. I don't care what you kids think. It's not like you have a megaphone or anything. And to a lesser extent, blowing off the kids who think his video game is a baby's toy also shows that growth. So Huey Lewis may be the most powerful character in the trilogy. He can give Marty an identity crisis despite on paper having no reason to.
If this is on MTV, I'm finished. Are you kidding? History. Huey, what happened to Huey Lewis? I don't know. He did a little bit part and nobody ever heard of him again.
Who are you?
Number 2, the Clock Tower Lady. An old lady is looking for donations for historical preservation, and she gives out a flyer that later has essential information.
30 years ago, lightning struck that clock tower, and the clock hasn't run since.
It's almost a disservice to think of her as a minor character considering how essential she is to the events that unfold, but she still doesn't have a name in canon.
Save the clock tower! Save the clock tower!
She's preventing the clock from getting repaired and preventing Marty and Jennifer from kissing. I'm not the first to say it, but she is a real clock blocker.
Mayor Wilson is sponsoring an initiative to replace that clock.
Yeah, the central joke here is that, it's pretty absurd to fight to keep a non-functioning clock in the middle of town square. And if progress really is the mayor's middle name, wanting to get everything up to date is, pretty reasonable for him, actually. But this old fuddy-duddy wants the clock to stay broken for historical significance.
We at the Hill Valley Preservation Society think it should be preserved exactly the way it is.
But look, she knows a thing or two about history, considering a relative of hers was on the Titanic. Alongside a relative of Biff's henchman Match.
Please, I have a
child!
Of course, in the musical, they actually swapped it so that there were no plans to fix the clock tower, but she's fighting to restore it to its full glory, which, as I've mentioned, is thematically stronger, but not nearly as funny.
Who are you?
And my number one favorite unnamed Back to the Future character, the Western Union Man. SCTV legend Joe Flaherty reunites with his used cars filmmakers for a memorable scene at the end of part 2, appearing as a threatening figure.
I've got something for you. A letter.
But it turns out he's there to give Marty hope when all seems lost.
It's from the dock!
This is one of my favorite scenes in cinema history. As far as Marty knows, this time he really is stuck here. Until this mysterious stranger comes in with the good news. It is so cathartic for Marty and the audience, and probably significantly less so for the Western Union Man himself.
Actually, a bunch of us at the office were kind of hoping maybe you could shed some light on the subject. So we've had that envelope in our possession for the past 70 years.
Just think, this guy drove 2 miles out from the nearest town on a stormy night to finally get an answer to this 70-year-long mystery, and absolutely nothing was clarified. He delivered the letter and heard a bunch of gibberish about someone being alive, and then the recipient just ran away.
We had a little bet going as to whether this Marty would actually be here. Looks like I lost.
Do you think when he got back to the office, he just trashed the receipt and was like, no, Marty wasn't there. I win the bet. But then he got in trouble for misplacing the package and he ended up getting fired? Or do you think he was completely honest about what happened and none of the coworkers were satisfied either and office morale just plummeted and the event left him so shaken that he moved to Michigan and so did Biff and then they raised the next generation of freaks and geeks?
Never did! You alright? You need any help? There's only one man who can help me!
Truth is, we don't know what happened to this guy after this. Well, we do know one thing. We know that Joe Flaherty reprised the role in Family Guy's Empire Strikes Back episode, so there's that.
Are you Luke Skywalker?
Yeah?
I've got something for you. A letter.
And that's my favorite unnamed characters from Back to the Future, but which one is your favorite? Let's discuss this in the comments, and if you like this video, you might like the only other 2 videos I've released on this channel this year, because they're also lists about Back to the Future, about the songs in the musical. I've been riffing on the other channel, but on this channel it's just been a lot of Back to the Future listing. Not next month though, next month we'll be listing for Decemberween. And until then, this is Dave, signing off. From toys from Fangamer to games from game makers, Homestar Runner and Strong Bad have become quite the advertising spokesman for their own products as of late. But which one of their ads are my favorites? Welcome to the annual Decemberween D-List, the show where I list Homestar Runner related things and my name begins with a D. And you may recall that last year, I ranked my favorite fake commercials from HomestarRunner.com, which is a format particularly well suited to the Brothers Chap sensibilities as they skewer the half-remembered pop culture of their youth.
Low rate, percent signs, I don't know.
And it's no wonder the Brothers Chaps eventually were able to deftly adapt that style into real promotional material. Shorts that were just as funny and slightly off-kilter as their fake commercials, they just happen to be built around real products instead of fictional ones. Admittedly, that does make up most of their output over the last several years, but I'm not judging. They got a lot of cool products they want people to know about. I'm sure if I had a product I was selling, like say a collection of my MST3K style riffs on DVD and digital download, I'd probably be doing the same thing. But yeah, today I'm counting down my favorite Homestar Runner real commercials. And I'm ranking them based on how entertaining the commercials themselves are, not how much I like the product being advertised. Partially because I don't actually own all these products yet. I own a lot of them, but I haven't gotten to all of them yet because I'm, broke. But I can watch the commercials for free, so let's riggedy roll. Number 9. Strong Sad Paunch Baby. Strong Sad is a Beanie Baby, several decades too late for it to be trendy. He's still more trendy than most of his brother's stuff, though.
Ever feel you're having too much fun?
I love it. The pitch for this ad is you need this as a depressant if you're having too much fun.
Sounds like you need a paunch.
Honestly, they could have just sold that Teen Girl Squad cornhole board and that would have been enough.
Got a friend who's feeling down? Let Strong Sad Punch Baby make it even worse.
And then they try to invent trendy games the kids might like.
The Punchback Kid, Tube Thoop, the 4 Snifty, and the Soft Serve Flop.
I don't have this yet, and it's not just because I'm plenty depressed enough on my own. I would love a Strong Sad beanbag. I'd love beanbags of all the characters in addition to regular type plushes of them. But let's be real, the only way I can afford all the Homestar merch is if all y'all buy way more of my merch.
Oh yeah, these are looking real good.
Yeah, I don't think this barbecue needed help being more depressing. Number 8, Homestar Anniversary merch. I don't have any of the items promoted here yet, but how often do I get to talk about a Homestar video that dropped this recently?
Did you know Homestar Runner's old as crap?
This isn't a promo for a single item, but for a whole wave of items from Fangamer celebrating 25.coms. So it doesn't really spoof a specific commercial style or pretend to be some other sort of video. It's just a pretty straightforward, normal ad on its own, just with good jokes.
I remember Lycos. There was a dog.
That's great.
Good jokes and creepy old burrito faces. First, Strong Bad and Homestar talk about the return of some classic shirts.
There's my champ stamp on the back, commemorating 25 years.
Let's not call it that.
Then we get a mini 6-sided die as Strong Sad lays out the playing cards.
It's Homestar Runner playing cards with original artwork on all 54 cards.
And then we return to Peasantry for probably one of the most exciting merch announcements imaginable. Again, haven't gotten it yet, hopefully will someday, but frankly, I'm just surprised it took this long for this to exist.
Flesh does not move raw, burn it, or devour human flesh. Oh, man!
Also, a Speemail came out a few days after this video, and it was a good one. In the lap year list from 2 years ago, I'd rank it between number 3, Parenting, and number 4, Speemail 206. And in the original top 20 list, I'd rank it between number 12, Date, and number 13, Crazy Cartoon. Number 7. Strong Bad sings on vinyl. So first, there was one of the fake commercials I talked about last year.
Every time that I look at myself, I can't believe how awesome I am.
Then 3 years later, they made it into a real product, but they didn't promote it in video format, so they didn't update the fake commercial for it. But then, 18 years after that, they re-released that real product in a different format, and then they updated the fake commercial into a real commercial.
You've got an ugly butt and a stupid butt.
Strong Bad sings on vinyl.
And yeah, I had to buy this, even though I already bought it twice on CD, and I mostly only listen to music on YouTube anymore anyway, but like, we got a record player as a wedding gift. I'm not gonna have this on record. Or this turntable mat, for that matter.
All the hits!
But he also fights the crime, but not as much. Danger-esque.
Some of the misses.
She's spinning me around.
Hey, that's no way to talk about the 5th best song on the album, according to me 5 years ago. We do get a montage of the album cuts of the songs, dubbing clips from the original tunes the songs are from, which I had to do manually when I was ranking this album, so now the brothers themselves know a little bit of what I went through.
Strong Bad sings like you've never heard it before!
That you were so stupid, but...
Well, like exactly like you've heard it before, but now it's on a bigger circle! Act now, or probably whenever, and we'll sell you this vinyl slip mat absolutely for an additional price!
Nobody can use the cadence of advertising to subvert advertising tropes while still genuinely advertising something like the Brothers Chaps.
Strong Bad Sings and other type hits available on all the stuff that he just said, except the screen has more numbers and an address.
Sure, maybe updating the fake commercial for the fake product into a real commercial for a real product may not be particularly surprising or creative on a conceptual level, but come on, if they hadn't done this, we would have all been disappointed, and they executed it excellently. Number 6. Kick the Cheat plush returns. The original and long out of print plush comes back in a new version, heralded by a nature video.
No one has seen this elusive creature for 18 years. It has to be extinct.
No way! I know it's out there!
We're so close I can smell it!
I was so psyched that Kick the Cheat is back. It was one of my biggest fandom regrets that I never got the original version before it went away. And now, I still haven't gotten the new version yet. I haven't gotten it yet because I'm, broke, but I'm really hoping I have more time this time around. Anyway, the return of Kick the Cheat is good news for everyone except for shady online resellers.
What about my overpriced online auctions? I gotta make a living somewhat.
I'm sorry to cheat. I don't know what I'm doing with my puppet life.
Ooh, what if there was a puppet little brother? It's probably best there's not. The world is not emotionally ready for that.
And a new zippered voice box pouch so you can change batteries.
You can hide the cash and jewels inside of it.
Considering they already made a whole video about what a hassle replacing the batteries was long after these guys were out of stock, I can see why this was a big selling point.
Bringing this beloved endangered species back from the stink of extinction.
That's just a top-notch spoonerism. Every time I think I can't be caught off guard by another delightful Brothers Chappian linguistic twist, they get me again.
Thanks to unethical genetic techniques, they've made him better than ever.
Treating the doll like a real endangered animal is such a simple but perfect joke, and the ad milks it for exactly as long as it's funny.
It's truly a miracle of nature that this beautiful creature has been saved.
Now let's kick the crap out of him! Ah!
Look, more of these are for more recent products because in the old days of the website, they just put a link to new merch on the homepage of the website, and that was how they told us about new merch. They didn't need to make whole videos about it. But now that more people are watching their stuff on YouTube, they gotta tell people on YouTube when they have cool new stuff. Number 5. Talkin' Strong Bad plush doll commercial. This is a parody of the My Buddy doll commercials, but with a Strong Baddian flair.
My buddy, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. Wherever I go, he goes.
Talking Strong Bad, he's my bud boy, a cute little version of me. Holy crap!
And I'm just gonna say it, a much catchier jingle than the My Buddy jingle.
Talking Strong Bad, a real live plush toy. He says different things when you squeeze him.
I don't know, a puppet playing with a doll just feels unnatural. But Strong Bad loving a doll of himself feels quite natural.
I love you. What the crap?
The doll not quite loving him in return also tracks.
Talking Strong Bad is a posable plush doll that says 15 different phrases.
Let's say upwards of 14 phrases instead. That sounds more impressive.
If anything, this ad undersells the doll and doesn't make it clear that the doll itself has even more jokes.
Hey kid, I'm talking hose doll. What? What do you mean by plush doll's been canceled?
But it's still a delightful little commercial that'll get stuck in your head forever. Number 4. The Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People ads. I do still have this game, but I'm not sure if I still have a device that it's actually playable on. I need to test it out on, all my various laptops, but the laptop it did work on, I don't think that laptop itself works anymore. I don't know, maybe I can emulate it, but either way, there were 2 of these released on April 10, 2008. On the Homestar site, there was a fake Speemail.
Dear Strong Bad, you need to make a 3D Strong Bad video game with all the burst graphics.
Even before the 3D camera starts moving, seeing Strong Bad move in this high of a frame rate is unsettling but intriguing.
Or did you mean like this? Give me that camera! Ah! Ooh, look at that voluptuous belly. Wow. Down the stairs. Ooh, pizza. That's 3 weeks on.
Hey, watch where you're pointing that 3D.
I will admit this ad oversells the 3D-ness of this game. I'm sure some fans saw Strong Bad running around the house here from a POV angle and were expecting an FPS from this and not an adventure game with largely fixed camera angles. But fortunately for me, adventure games with largely fixed camera angles are my preferred game format, baby!
From the people who made that game, Rabbit Dog and Bunnyman.
Okay, I was a big enough Sam & Max fan already that I don't automatically call them Rabbit Dog and Bunnyman every time I see them, but probably 50% of the time I see them, that's the phrase in my head.
And the geniuses responsible for Trogdor, Let's Burninate Phonics.
Okay, I really want to play some of these boring-looking Videlectrix edutainment games. Where are they? Are you keeping them from us, brothers chaps?
Comes a 3D point-and-click-em-up adventure that will quite literally leave your Wii console a smoldering crater.
game will not literally leave your Wii console a smoldering crater.
Technically a clearer disclaimer than Butterdaw.
But I sent them this concept art, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna stick close to my vision.
Don't worry, Strong Bad. They'll use your design eventually. You just have to play through a lot to get to it.
Presenting Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people! Or if you want to get in on the ground floor of the cool abbreviation, SBCG4AP!
The other ad released that same day was the one Telltale released themselves, an infomercial with some of that bad commercial acting we love so much from Homestar and Strong Bad.
It's Strong Bad's cool game for attractive people. But you can play too!
I'm pointing, I'm clicking, it's like an adventure.
Okay, despite my adventure game fandom predating this ad by a good decade, that actually is a phrase that does pop into my head literally every time I play an adventure game. And I'm not complaining.
I got so excited, I forgot everything you just said.
I hope this game eventually is re-released in a more current format, but until that ever happens, these ads are a lovely way to remind myself how hyped I was that this was happening. Until then, though, I guess if I want to replay this, I can dig my brother's Wii out of our parents' garage. Number 3. Talk It Yourself Homestar Puppet Plush. The piece of merch the people have demanded for 2 decades is here. Your own Puppet Homestar. Not quite screen accurate, but probably more durable than the real one.
Yeah, you're probably right. Not this again.
Do you know someone with a terrible Homestar Runner impression that they just won't give up on?
But first, some powered by the cheat looking guys demonstrate the need for such a product.
Is that someone you?
This does not look good for Homestar Runner.
Okay, I need to know, is that Mike doing his bad impression of Matt's character, or is that Matt doing a bad impression of Mike's bad impression of Matt's character?
Spin my muzzle.
One advantage the Puppet Plush has over the actual puppet: lower extremities.
Hey, check out my proprietary dangle legs, Tiny TM up top.
And even front-facing.
Oh yeah, they had recently introduced the horrors of front-facing in that one cartoon, even though they had briefly shown us front-facing a long, long time ago. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the horror of biblically accurate Homestar eyes. As a side note, my one criticism of the product itself is that all the eyes it comes with all face the same way. Like the little curly bit at the top is all facing this way, and I wish the spare eyes faced the other way. I don't know, maybe they'll do an add-on. Fangamer eventually sold a Danger-esque sunglasses add-on for the Strong Bad plush, so I would probably pay up to severals of dollars for bonus other ways eyes.
Magnetic eyes allow for facing either direction.
Like I could flip it itself, but then it doesn't have whites on the other side of the eyes, which I guess makes for even more horrifying biblically accurate Homestar. Ooh. Enjoy the nightmares, kids.
And this!
Okay, now I'm sold. I'll take it. I'll take 12. Number 2. The Peasant's Quest trailer. I actually went back and forth as to whether or not to even include this because it is an ad, but not for a purchasable product. But if I'm including other game trailers, I feel like this one should count too, and really, you're gonna expect me to leave anything Peasant's Quest related off the list? The fake Peasant's Quest trailer was my number 1 last year. The real preview has to at least place.
From the company that made that game Trogdor, and that game Rabbit Algebra, comes a graphical text adventure of rather large proportions.
I've talked before about how Peasant's Quest is my favorite Homestar Runner thing, and possibly my second favorite King's Quest game, and I've talked before about how I was so blindsided by this trailer, unsure if it was a real ad or a fake one. The mixing of real information and joke information kept me on my toes.
Can one peasant wearing short pants save the countryside from certain burnination? You decide! Coming soon to a 286 CGA-enabled PC near you.
And truthfully, I was fully satisfied with it as a fake ad, but I was ecstatic that it turned out to be real. And frankly, I think that's the sign of a fantastic ad, when it's entertaining enough on its own that you're satisfied with no product, but the product it's for delivers even beyond that. And my number 1 favorite Homestar Runner real commercial, the Trogdor board game campaign. This was not one mere commercial. This was an entire campaign for a Kickstarter and the product it begat. Possibly the biggest product in all of Homestardom. It's one of the only ones I've seen in brick and mortar stores. Like, I think I saw the Telltale game in a GameStop once, but I've seen this in so many hobby shops. Like, this thing is everywhere. So they pulled out all the stops for this. So much so that I couldn't choose just one of these videos for this list, so I'm gonna rank them all. And I'm gonna do it over here. That's right, there's a bonus D list. You didn't realize you were getting 2 today, did ya? So go check that out. The Brothers Chap spent quite some time promoting Trogdor the board game, and rightly so. But which was the best promo video? Welcome to the D-List, the show where I list things and my name begins with a D. And you may have just watched my list ranking my favorite commercials for Homestar Runner products, but within that category lies a far more consummate subcategory, videos encouraging you to check out all the majesty of Trogdor the board game. So let's rank those. Number 9. Trogdor the board game playthrough. Strong Bad, Strong Sad, Homestar Runner, and Human Mike play a full game of Trogdor.
I'm here with Strong Bad.
Hi, guys.
And Strong Sad. Greetings. And Homestar Runner.
Oh, hello.
I would love to find out that this whole game was played with Matt wearing 2 Brother Strong gloves on 2 different hands, and Mike occasionally putting the Homestar puppet on one hand.
And then we have to burninate the thatched roof cottages.
Say it the right way, Mike.
Come on, you know Mike's not the voice actor you are, SB.
And Homestar, it's your turn.
I get to talk. Nobody remembers me over here.
Yeah, some parts of it drag a bit, which is just accurate to the game night experience, but the highlights are pretty high.
Bon peasants come from the Trog meter.
So peasants are born from Trogdor's stomach, is that what you're telling me?
So, don't think too much on it, Strong Bad. Don't think too much on it.
And even the creators of the game sometimes forget a rule or two, but fortunately there's an ever-pedantic Strong Sad to address it in post.
Whoops dang! The Troghammer should have repaired that cottage. But it's okay. A different knight's about to repair it anyways. So stop yelling at me.
At about 40 minutes, this is an uncharacteristically long piece of Homestar media, which is fun to have, but it does mean I don't revisit it nearly as often as the other promo videos. Number 8. Magic's and Emergencies Expando Deck. The first, and so far only, expansion pack for the Trogdor board game was promoted with this little ad.
It's like new cards that they didn't think of the first time they made the game.
That's right.
In true Brothers Chap style, it's self-promotion laced with self-deprecation.
Brand new action cards with the kind of dumb names that you've come to expect.
Peasant intern.
We also find out here that Strong Sad is clearly the best commercial actor in the gang, at least in terms of line delivery.
I cast a spell of unvoidity!
What the?
Well, maybe second best after Onion Powder Bubs. Number 7. Trogdor the board game launch video. The one that started it all, with the same announcers as the Peasant's Quest trailer, one of whom seems to have forgotten pronunciations.
Trogdor, a cooperative game of Burnination, Majesty, and Consummate V's.
Yes, with this video, Board Electrics has officially gone from a cutaway gag in a DVD-exclusive SPE-mail to a full-fledged creator of an actual product. But they'll still call back to that cutaway gag in the DVD-exclusive SPE-mail.
The company that made that game, Jervy Scat.
On the surface, calling back to a DVD-exclusive joke may not seem like a way to cast a particularly wide net with your advertising, but it is going to resonate with the people who already like giving you money.
By pledging to this hard drive. Fund drive. What is it? Fundraiser drive.
The video gives the basic most overview of the game, basically physicalizing the gameplay of Trogdor with one exclamation point, the arcade game, but adding that second exclamation point of physical items and also Peasant's Quest lore.
Using your unique powers and enchanted items, take turns controlling the Burninator in order to achieve your goal of burninating the entire countryside, burninating all the peasants, and of course, burninating all the thatched roof cottages.
And Homestar's commercial acting has improved slightly from his Fluffy Puff Halloween days.
I drew Wing-a-Ling. I can start my turn anywhere on the game board.
Look, as long as he remembers his lines, that's a plus. The Vid-Electrics duo, on the other hand, has shown no growth since the Peasant's Quest preview.
What do you mean there's no graphics in board games?
Well, there's graphic design.
You don't design graphics.
You don't?
You program them.
Number 6. Six-Sided Die. This is a whole sub-series within this subcategory, so I could queue up another video here where I rank these all individually, but I won't. Not this year anyway. Maybe down the line in a future Decemberween, if I've run out of other Homestar things to list, I'll revisit this category, but for now I'm just gonna talk about them all as a single entity.
Six-sided, whoa, six-sided, oh, six, oh!
Anyway, this is Strong Sad's board game review show, focusing almost entirely on one board game in particular. The board game that they were mostly released as Kickstarter updates for, which seems like a conflict of interest for a review show. Anyway, in the first episode, Strong Sad and Mike play a little bit of the game to give a general overview.
Stormclaw has wraparound movement, which allows Trogdor to move. If he was here and wanted to move west, he would jump over here. If he was here and wanted to move south, he would jump up here. Normally, Trogdor can't do that unless you have this special power, but the knights, archers, and peasants all do that automatically, have that wraparound.
Oh, like a King's Quest game.
Oh, come on. I can't imagine anything in Peasantry resembling anything from King's Quest.
We, of course, in the vein of Teen Girl Squad, say, arrowed.
Well, it's a pretty good strong bad, Mike.
Yeah, nice work, Mike. Have you been taking voice lessons from the cheat?
All in all, it's a great way to encourage my weird obsession with my brother that mistreats me.
Oh, Strong Sad, please go back to therapy. Anyway, the next episode features Strong Sad playing a non-Trogdor game with the co-star of the Trogdor movie.
Mr. Lucky Yates!
Hi, Strong Sad.
So, thanks for coming on the Six-Sided Die, Lucky.
I'm very excited about this one.
We should give everybody a little background, I suppose. Lucky and I have sort of a standing date. We go thrifting together.
We are thrift store friends.
That's right. That's how we met.
That's right. This is our first venture outside of the world of thrifting together.
Ooh, mixing up your friendships, playing board games with Lucky now. I really hope this means we get to see you go thrifting with Hamsar.
Why don't you tell them what we found at the thrift shop?
Oh man, I'm really excited about this one. Don't make Daddy PO'd.
Look, they built the prop for the launch video. I'm frankly surprised they didn't try to get even more use out of it after this.
And maybe we have to get to the lawnmower to do our chores and then maybe back? I don't know.
It definitely wouldn't PO him if we did our chores.
That's
maybe
what I'm assuming.
Our goal, yeah.
This is just Calvin Ball chaos, with the two trying to make sense of game pieces designed not to make sense. It's great.
Oh, you're confronting Daddy.
Oh, maybe, is this when we need to write something?
I think this is perhaps where we need to pen a note to Daddy. Perhaps a note of appreciation. Would you like to dictate one to me?
Okay. Dear Daddy, just wanted to let you know that we like how not PO'd you are.
This still feels like it makes more sense than Jervy Scat.
Well, Lucky, what do you think? How close do you think we came to the real deal?
I don't know that we came close at all, but I think we certainly improved upon the game.
Absolutely.
From here on in, the episodes get more bite-sized, focusing on specific aspects of the game. In the next episode, Strong Sad breaks down Peasant Burnination.
And once a peasant has finished his path of burnination, he does not go into the Trog meter. He goes into the void. Oh, I guess this was better than the plague.
And I guess it's a recipe?
So there you have it. Peasant Burnination 4 ways. A low-calorie dessert you can whip up for your family in under 15 minutes.
Un dessert hypocalorique que vous pouvez préparer pour votre famille en moins de 15 minutes.
The next episode breaks down Trogdor's fiery rage.
In the spirit of my favorite unproduced Don Bluth film, Peasants Goes West.
It wouldn't have lived up to a peasantry entail anyway.
Trogdor doesn't lose, he rage quits. We will draw 5 consecutive movement cards. Trogdor will follow the movement path on each of those. He gets automatic perma-burnination.
It's nice to see that both Trogdor and Rather Dashing alike can sometimes only win by losing.
That he is victorious, and then probably takes a really long nap. I would.
The next one shows you how you can build your own void tower.
Or make your own with poster board, a utility knife, ruler, pencil, and maybe a glue stick.
Even with all the pieces that come with the game already, it's not a true board game without some over-elaborate arts and crafts.
Oh, I'm dead. Oh, me too. I guess I am as well.
Oh, I'm dead.
Oh, I'm sure that must have been cathartic for Strong Sad.
And also, I didn't authorize my appearance in this lame Instructables video.
Really? You don't even endorse it on your hat? Anyway, next we finally get to the unboxing, which feels like it should be step one, but what you gonna do?
There's our lineup, your starting lineup for your Troglanta Hawks.
Strong Sad, I can't believe you of all people are tarnishing this nerdy board game with a sports reference.
I'll spread these out like a true blackjack professional.
See, this is why you weren't invited to play poker at the inventory.
9 with good illustrations and 3 with strong bad illustrations.
Get those jabs in, Strong Sad. Your brother deserves all you give him.
9 of these, 3 by strong bad, making a total of 12.
Good math, Strong Sad. Good math.
Okay, Mike, don't be condescending. We all know Strong Sad's the smartest free country in.
That's a separate mini-game, unrelated to the base game. You don't need to play it.
You probably shouldn't.
Ooh, Forbidden Minigame? I want to play Forbidden Minigame.
Now, can I grease that up, Mike, with like a Q-tip full of olive oil, perhaps?
Sure.
Yeah? Season it with some garlic?
Not everything is a recipe, Strong Sad.
The contents of Trogdor the board game laid bare.
Then a few years later, one more episode was released to break down the Expando deck.
Featuring such standouts as Tunnel Breath, Flaming Haldo, Peasant Intern, and Rollover Minutes, which I'm sure the young people will totally get.
Aw, it's sweet that you think you still have any young fans, Strong Sad.
Look at how excited poor Hardy Barty is there. Hoping to get the call up from Coach.
I'm sorry, Hadry Badry. I gotta go with my number 1 guy.
Now entering the board game, number 47, Reggie Toupee.
Oh, Board Electrics, give us a card gauge card game already, you cowards.
Oh no! This knight is going to repair this cottage that I just burninated. How frustrating. But wait, if I play third string keeper, and I've got old war checks still in the box, I can bring them in to prevent the knight from repairing.
For videos that go into the boring to explain intricacies of gameplay, they could not have picked a better spokesman than Strong Sad.
Now that you know what each new card type does, I'll show you how to set up a game using the new Expando deck, I guess.
Now, the aforementioned playthrough video technically doesn't count as a 6-sided die, despite the aesthetic and the fact that Strong Sad seems in control of post-production. It also doesn't count as a disc 4 of 12, despite the fact that it's Strong Bad at playing through a game. I think if we get like 2 more disc 4 of 12s, then I can start ranking those. Number 5, the Rulebook EP music videos. Again, another mini category within this mini category within this category. If you have a low tolerance for strong Sadie and 6-sided tedium, the rules were also explained in song in the Rulebook EP, and 3 of those songs got videos. First, in Quick Start Overview, Puppet Strong Bad raps the basics.
This is the Quick Start Overview. I'ma tell you all the things that you're supposed to do.
Now, the most important thing about this short is that we get to see Powered by the Cheat Homeschool winner.
Now, Trogdor is a game that's cooperative. You can play it by yourself or with your stepmom's kids.
And the second most important thing is we get another just perfect moment of Strong Mad being a sweet little cinnamon roll.
We did it, the cheat! We turned Strong Mad into a green screen! I love you, the cheat!
Second, in a little tune that appears to take place inside the logo of the Homestar Runner and Beauregard show, Homestar sings about the actions you can do.
You can move or chomp or hide or borrow or even pollinate. Hey, that was great. It was super catchy. Everybody's gonna remember this one.
It's so catchy that Homestar gets too distracted to actually remember the meter the second time around.
Where you go to your house and inside your house. You have a couple friends and maybe eat a snack and then play a board game called Trogdor the Board Game. And these are the actions that you can do. They are move and chomp and hide and burrow and pollinate.
Then both of Strong Bad's loose leaf worlds overlap as the Gregs play Trogdor the Board Game and Brain Krieg explains Trogdor's fiery rage. After which, Homestar pops up in a hidden track to ask a simple question.
Did you win? Did you win?
If you didn't, I can only imagine how obnoxious this is.
I know you can't see my face, so you can tell how serious this is, but I really want to know. That's why I'm giving you this game outcome quiz.
These are all short, effective, and catchy. I would have loved videos for the whole EP. Maybe doing one for Strong Sad Song would have been a little redundant with Six Sided Die, but come on, we need a Big Knife music video eventually. Number 4, Meeple Grove Market. While this isn't explicitly promoting the game, it was posted as part of the Kickstarter campaign, and I guess in a roundabout way, it does advertise the Homestar character meeples, which I do have, but they're over there and they're too small. I don't want to get that close to the camera.
We look like we belong in one of those old British stop-motion shows. You know, where we all speak in board gamery terms while a pleasant narrator over-explains everything.
Welcome to Meeple Grove Market.
I'm honestly impressed that Matt bothered to do a second British pleasant narrator voice instead of just reusing the one from Tronkles.
I trade for grain. I just eradicated all disease in Jakarta.
I lost a toad in the chocolate swamp.
Yes, every member of the gang associates with a different board game. And you know there's only one place that could lead.
Do it, Homstar. Do it. Here. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Oh, no. You just shanked my Jenga ship.
Oh, no. It's our mortal enemy. Someone going to get a drink during the game. Ah!
Don't worry, guys. He'll pick you all back up when he gets back from the Scenorial Day tent event super sale. Number 3. Trogdor was a man / Trogdor was Dragon Man / the one from when the 70s.
Trogdor was a man. Trogdor was a dragon man. Trogdor was a man. Trogdor was a dragon man.
I've already said all I have to say about this one when I ranked the Powered by the Cheat tunes, but yeah, I love it. Super catchy. I might even listen to this one more than I listen to the real Trogdor song. I know it's sacrilege, but I love that power surge. Number 2. Stack 'em to the heavens. Oh, Marshy, how I hate to love to hate you.
Stack 'em to the heavens! Stack 'em to the heavens! Now you can play a game called Stack 'em to the heavens!
We call back to one of the best fake commercials with this real commercial for an arguably fake product within a real product.
That's right, Marshy. New from...
Oh, no, you don't, Wendell! This is my barbecue! Stack 'em to the heavens is a quick stacking game that's great for when your little brats are waiting for their chicken fingers.
We're vegan.
Yeah, this is simultaneously probably the closest we'll ever get to a real-life Fluffy Puff commercial, and also barely a commercial for a real product. It's for a bonus product within the product, namely the aforementioned Forbidden Minigame, where you can play with the pieces that already come with the game in a different game that barely counts as a game.
Shake up the bag, roll the knights and peasants, and take turns making radical stack-em-ups.
Even the dramatistration actors can barely pretend this is fun.
If I can force you to stack 3 peasants in a row, you lose.
Not if I can stack them weird ways enough to topple you down.
Oh no, you toppled me down.
Hey, it's great.
That's not normal bad commercial acting. That's just boredom.
Stack 'em to the heavens is a talk say I made a long time ago, and then these jerks stole it.
Fluffy Puff versus Board Electrics, the corporate showdown we've all been waiting for. Whoever wins, we win.
The first one to stack 1 million is doing it wrong.
Look, it's on par with a lot of cereal prizes, which might be why the announcer got confused at the end.
Included in every box of Trogdor cereal. I mean board game. Don't pour milk on it.
Hey, you can't tell me what to do. I don't need StrongSat to explain this recipe to me. And my number one favorite Trogdor the Board Game promotional video, Wormwood version video. The Wormwood Gaming craftsmen labor over a limited edition version of the Trogdor board, and Strongbad riffs the video.
Synergy. Dynamic upstream. Unlock your potential.
The Consummate tier, an exclusive
somebody's talking.
offering in this campaign from the Artisans of Wormwood, is a tribute to the enduring majesty that is Trogdor the Burninator.
Wait, Trogdor? I just assumed from the music that this was a commercial for insurance or one of them old man medications.
Look, as a part-time riffer myself, plug, I appreciate Strongbad's skills of a riffer. And I appreciate that Strongbad knows when to mock and when to respect the video's respect toward the Burninator.
This guy totally ruined this board and won't be working here much longer.
Consummate V's of genuine silver draw your attention right where it belongs, to he who comes in the night.
Yes. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Even without the riffing, it would be pretty funny hearing such a serious-looking video talk so reverently about Trogdor.
This guy needs to back up off of this laser cutter.
The visuals on their own are immensely satisfying, on top of which Strongbad's riffs are funny. It's always nice to watch something that's both pleasant and hilarious.
We seasoned the mighty Burninator with fresh, cracked black pepper and what is clearly cumin. Or maybe ground mustard. We dump an entire gallon of Grandma's protein shake on a board for no reason.
And that's my ranking of the Trogdor the Board Game promo videos, as an epilogue my ranking of Homestar commercials in general. But which one is your favorite? Let's discuss this all in the comments, and if you like this video, you might also like this one where I pitch the Homestar product that I wish was real, the Homestar Runner Theme Park Ride. And until next time, this is Dave, signing off.